Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Market Wrap. So I am back in Philly. The Giants actually won a game, beat Dallas, and still managed to get knocked out of the playoffs because the Eagles were smart enough to tank. At least you won't have to listen to me talk about the Giants for at least a few months until we get to the draft. So this week, we had three really cool pieces come across my desk. The first one is a Rolex Submariner, but it's not your typical Submariner. It's the 116618. So this is the gold piece, but it's the last of the earlier generation. We know we just got the introduction. Why do I love the older version? It's the blue dial. The new version blue, I am not a huge fan of. So this particular one is my last one I'll probably ever get. It's a 2020, but a previous generation. I love that blue. I love the gold. It's an awesome watch. The second piece is a Cartier, and we rarely talk about Cartier on Market Wrap because mostly Cartier I think of at least as a ladies' brand. But this particular piece is everything but. It's a Santos 100 in palladium with a skeleton movement, truly amazing, super rare piece, really big, really cool. Might actually have you take a look at a Cartier. The last piece is a Jaeger. Again, another brand we sometimes overlook, and this is their master control, but the thing I love about it is it's got a meteorite dial. We think about meteorites in Rolex, but Jaeger for a few years made some really cool meteorites. This is a great example of it, and again, not something we see every day. So 2021 is off to a strong start. The stock market's booming. I think hope of the vaccine reaching the masses seems to be helping the global market. But I'm feeling like we saw a really strong run-up in prices over the last 6 months. So I don't expect we're going to see an overwhelming price appreciation across the market. I think what I will see is, as any market, there are some certain things that I would call laggards. So the market's gone up, Rolex has gone up, sports Pateks have gone up. But even in those brands, there is some opportunities out there that I think will be very interesting. So no auctions for the next quarter or so. Won't be till the spring till we see auction season. So the only thing we're going to have a gauge of the market for is what we see online. Obviously, we post a lot online. We track all the platforms closely. And what I watch is what not only is online, but what also is not online. Now, what do I mean by that? So I track certain brands. For instance, FP Journe. We're big active players in FP Journe. Right now, there are 138 pieces on Chrono 24. Very few in the world. 28 of those pieces belong to WatchBox. So outside of us, there's 110 Journes in the entire market. Very tight. As soon as they pop up, they tend to sell. It's something we track all the time, and we try to measure activity and trading based on what's available. We're also tracking Lange very closely. Platinum Datograph is one of my favorite watches. About 6 months ago, there was 15 on Chrono 24. Today, they're down to 7, and one of those is not even a real listing. The other thing you do have to be careful about on the web is some of the listings are old, non-existent, so you really have to weed through what you see there. Sometimes you can get lulled into believing the prices are much stronger, or even in some cases, like there's a Lange posted that's much below market. The dealer hasn't had it for 3 or 4 months. So it's something to watch. We do track the market very closely through the internet, but it's interesting to see what the prices are doing and where the availability is. As we see these drops in supply, it's usually a leading indicator that the prices are going to come up. The cheaper pieces drop off the internet, and suddenly new pieces that come on are going to get priced a little bit higher. So it's something as a leading indicator we like to follow. Now, for 2021, we do see some opportunities. We talk about the Lange Datograph, but I specifically like the up-down. It's a piece that is very closely priced to the regular Datagraphs, well below retail, great opportunity. The other piece I absolutely love is the Datograph Perpetual. This is a piece that was 160 to 200,000 new, and you can get them in the 70 to 80,000 range. Very similar pricing to what you can see in the regular Lange Datagraphs, and way below equivalent other watches from other manufacturers. The other pieces I really like are the Pateks. There's some great opportunity in 2021 for Patek Philippe. And that's strange to say because for decades, as long as I've been doing this, Patek was always considered the top of the market, the most coveted, and usually led in pricing. Over the last couple of years, we've seen certain segments of the Patek market soften. And I think there's great opportunity right now in 5270s, perpetual chronos. You can get in the low hundreds, and the replacements as they come out are going to be twice that price. I think there's great opportunity there. The other pieces I love are the Patek 5140, classic perpetual calendar, easily obtainable at half of what the retail was. I know Patek's going to come up with some great things this year. I think it's going to drive the market. And if anything, for 2021, I'm going to recommend trying to stay away from the herd. We've seen Nautiluses get back up to crazy, Aquanauts. Why would you spend $70,000 on a Nautilus 3-hand when you can get a 3970 perpetual chrono for less? So for 2021, my recommendation is take a look at some of these brands, the Pateks, the Vacherons, the Langes, top-notch brands, maybe some of the overlooked pieces, and pick up yourself a great value for the new year. Thanks for watching this week's Market Wrap. Hope to see you next week.